The most enduring secrets aren't buried underground. They're hidden in plain sight, woven into the fabric of history itself. For over 900 years, the story of the Knights Templar has been a cycle of mystery, power, betrayal, and whispers of a legacy so profound it could undo the world as we know it. We're not talking about a lost map or a chest of gold. We're talking about a bloodline, a sacred lineage they were sworn to protect, a legacy older than civilization, one that still holds untold power today. The Guardians of Solomon's Temple. The official history of the Templars begins with 9 French knights in 1119, pledging to protect pilgrims journeying to the Holy Land. What started as a noble act quickly transformed. Within a decade, they were granted headquarters on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, specifically the ruins believed to be Solomon's Temple. This location is the key to everything. For nearly 10 years, this tiny, original group of knights did virtually nothing visible. They were not fighting. They were digging. They were excavating the legendary site believed to house the Ark of the Covenant and countless other ancient secrets. Many scholars now believe they weren't just searching for relics. They were unearthing forbidden knowledge, documents, and genealogical proof of a lineage that challenged the very foundation of the medieval power structure. Upon their return to Europe, the few surviving original knights were suddenly endorsed by the Pope and granted extraordinary privileges. They exploded into a global superpower. How did a small, impoverished group of knights become the most influential entity in the Western world in a single generation? They didn't just find gold. They found leverage. They became the bankers of Europe, accumulating staggering wealth, trusted by kings and popes alike. This economic power was merely a tool to safeguard the true mission, the protection of the secret lineage. To understand the lineage, we must reconsider the most famous object associated with the Templars, the Holy Grail. While popular legend portrays it as the cup used by Christ at the Last Supper, an ancient and more controversial theory suggests a different truth. The term Holy Grail may be a linguistic misinterpretation of sangriel, which translates from Old French to royal blood. This theory posits that the secret the Templars guarded was the surviving bloodline of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene, a physical dynasty that carried the divine right to rule. The Templars, by this account, were not merely soldiers of Christ, but the custodians of Christ's living descendants. This secret would have been a direct and existential threat to the Catholic Church, whose entire spiritual and political authority rested on the belief that Christ had no earthly successor. It would also threaten the legitimacy of all reigning European monarchs. The Templars, therefore, used their immense power and military strength to protect and conceal this family. This ancient sacred lineage is often traced back to the Merovingian dynasty, the earliest kings of France who ruled from the 5th to the 8th centuries. The Merovingians were said to possess mystical powers and to have been descended from ancient kings of Israel. The Templars, it is argued, inherited the sacred duty of protecting this dynasty after its public reign ended, using the wealth gathered during the Crusades to ensure its survival in the shadows. This hidden agenda culminated in the order's spectacular downfall. By the early 14th century, the Templars' influence was intolerable to King Philip IV of France, who was not only deeply indebted to them, but feared their subtle political power. He saw their knowledge and their secret as a profound threat to his throne. On Friday, October 13, 1307, Philip launched a swift, coordinated strike across France, arresting thousands of knights on fabricated charges of heresy and blasphemy. The public spectacle, torture, and eventual execution of the Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was an attempt to wipe the Order and its secret from history. But the official narrative is riddled with holes. Crucial assets vanished. Templar ships carrying their most valuable cargo sailed out of port and were never officially traced. Many knights simply disappeared. It's widely believed that the Templars, with their vast intelligence network, were tipped off and orchestrated a massive, covert evacuation. They didn't disappear. They fled to nations where the king's or pope's power was weak, namely Portugal and, most significantly, Scotland. Scotland, under Robert the Bruce, was a defiant, autonomous kingdom, often at odds with the papacy. It became a perfect sanctuary. Legend claims that Templar knights fought alongside Bruce at the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314, securing Scottish independence and cementing their place within the kingdom's noble houses. The most tangible evidence of this enduring Scottish legacy lies in Rosslyn Chapel, built a century later. This chapel is a physical monument to the Templars' hidden knowledge, its intricate carvings. The famous apprentice pillar, the Green Man, and various symbols are rich with esoteric iconography, sacred geometry, and potential codes that hint at the survival of a powerful secret. Rosslyn is believed by many to be a literal safe house for Templar knowledge and possibly a sacred relic. From this sanctuary, the Templar mission went permanently underground. Their ideals, their symbols, their organizational structure, and their core mandate to guard the bloodline were absorbed by emerging secret societies. This is the birth of the conspiracy linking the Templars to the Freemasons. Many of the Masons' most important symbols and rituals trace directly back to Templar traditions. The Freemasons became the new custodians, an interconnected, secretive global network capable of preserving the lineage and the knowledge across generations. The survival of the bloodline is not just a theory confined to medieval Europe. Consider the mystery of Rennes-le-Château in southern France. In the late 19th century, a poor village priest, Baron Chersony, suddenly acquired massive wealth and began renovating his church, which was dedicated to Mary Magdalene. During this renovation, he allegedly discovered cryptic parchments containing coded messages. Saunière's bizarre actions and the symbols he left in the rebuilt church symbols that connect the location to the Merovingians and the Templar network suggest he stumbled upon the final piece of the puzzle. The genealogical evidence, or perhaps a repository of the secret lineage. This enduring trail of clues, from the Temple Mount to the castles of Scotland and the isolated village of Rennes-le-Château, all points to the same conclusion. The bloodline survived. The descendants of this sacred lineage didn't vanish. They quietly integrated into the noble and powerful families of Europe. They became the hidden architects of power, using their ancestral legacy and the wealth preserved by the Templar network to subtly influence politics and culture over centuries. The question is no longer if the bloodline exists, but who carries it today. Do they, modern-day heirs to this legacy, know their true identity? Are they active members of global secret societies, continuing to fulfill the Templar mission? The enduring power of this secret is not in the history itself, but in the potential that a lineage carrying a divine right to rule might still be among us, waiting to emerge and change the balance of the world. The true purpose of the Knights Templar was not to defend the Christian faith, but to safeguard a family, a hidden legacy that remains the greatest, most profound secret in human history. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the Templar shadow legacy. Your passion for uncovering hidden history is what makes these stories continue to resonate. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of ancient secrets, please like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'll continue to peel back the layers of history together.